I am joined by Sean Wynn, who is a former soccer First Point athlete. How are you, Sean?
I'm doing well, Rich. How's yourself?
I'm good. So you're
Good.
currently based in Syracuse, am I right?
Yeah, in upstate New York, yeah, in Syracuse.
What's it like at the moment with everything that's going on with the COVID-19?
It's a bit strange, if I'm honest. We've got, I mean, as it is with everybody, it's a weird time to be alive, really. Let's be honest. It's no different here than anywhere else. The only difference is the protests towards COVID were a little bit strange, and now we've got protests, for a different cause going on in Syracuse. So it's a bit of a strange time to be living here. But other than COVID and fighting for social justice, it's a wonderful place and the weather's lovely, so it's quite nice.
That's good. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from originally, and when did you start playing soccer? Like, what got you into the sport?
Yes, I was born. My whole family's from Liverpool, an island like, but I was born in Palm Beach, Florida. Grew up in Liverpool. Moved back to Liverpool from Florida when I was about, I think it was like 1 or 2. I can't remember it obviously. Um, Grew up in Liverpool from that age till 18 till I came back out here. Started playing football. Obviously, my dad got me into it like most lads do back home. Your dad, takes you to the match or whatever for the first time. I think I was 5 in my first game. It was a derby actually, and my uncle had to pick me up because me and my sister were too scared because it was so loud and that. But even at that point, like you'd fall in love with football, and so I started playing at like 5 or 6, like everyone else does, just at like youth level, amateur level, whatever it may be. Um, Enjoyed it, loved it from the second I started playing the game, as most lads do. Uh, went from amateur teams and what have you. Had trials at a few different places when I was younger. None of it really worked out, so I was too small. And I frankly wasn't really good enough to play for Everton. Actually, let's be honest. but 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 I like to dream. And then from there went to a club called Vauxhall Motors, which was a Blue Square North club at the time. I don't think they're around anymore. I think they actually went into liquidation or whatever. But I was there for a while. Was coaching there for a while, and didn't really know what I wanted to do beyond that. I was at sixth form at the time. I didn't really know what I wanted to do, and someone had mentioned FirstPoint to me, a lad who'd gone to one of the trials, and I just went from there, and thankfully I did it.
Yeah. So as you just mentioned, you went through First Point USA. What was your
Yeah,
experience like with this company?
yeah, it was quality. Like, I mean, it goes without saying, I wouldn't be where I am today without FirstPoint, 100%. I mean, if it wasn't FirstPoint, I wouldn't have got the exposure I got to the coaches. Um, as well as just the playing experience, going to the showcases and going to the trials and that, it does give you it gives you a different experience on football. It's strange to not just have to play a game, but to have to play a game and impress time and time again, because you never know who's watching or who's going to see a clip in that game, and those small little moments can make a difference as to what college you go to. But overall, the experience was quality. I was mostly working with JP for my time there, and and it was just perfect. I mean, he was always on the other end of the phone if I had any questions. He was giving me advice of what he did, and because obviously he was out, I think he played the Hartwick, and he was quite a good player if I'm not mistaken. Which is a D1 school, like, so a lot of lads want to go to D1 if they can. And he gave me a lot of advice on what I should do. I was getting offers from like community colleges, and initially you're a little hesitant at that. But yeah, without FirstPoint, obviously I wouldn't be where I am. The advice that they give, and as well as the exposure we give to thousands of coaches, it's just brilliant.
Yeah, that's great to hear. So you went down the community college route. Um,
Yeah,
how was that experience for you? Like, what were the main differences you noticed when you moved out?
yeah. So I had to go the community college route because my grades were dreadful in high school. Really, I thought I was the big man playing for Vauxhall Motors and didn't focus in school at all. So I had to go to community college, and at first I was hesitant, like a lot of lads are, because when you initially start thinking, oh, I'm coming over to America to play football or whatever, or get a scholarship and this, that, and the other. A lot of lads aren't thinking about community colleges. You're thinking about massive schools, and you're thinking about D1 or D2. Well, most lads aren't even thinking about D2, let's be honest. And because we have that competitive edge as footballers, but I wouldn't change my experience at all. I mean, the community college route lets you, especially if you're not the best in the classroom, it does give you the chance to get used to how it works over here, get your grades up, and get your grades up with the American standards, if that makes sense. You know, you can graduate community college with, you know, a 3.8 GPA, and that can get you into a school that you never would be able to get into otherwise. So it is a great stepping stone. And, you know, it's not even just a stepping stone. I would say some of my most enjoyable years were at community college. Obviously, I love my time at Moyne, who I went to afterwards, but the years at my community college were quality. And if, you know, if it wasn't for not just me going, but all the lads who were there in my first year, but all the lads who then came in the second year, if it wasn't for those lads coming over in the second year, we wouldn't have got to where we got, and I wouldn't be where I am. You know, we got to nationals because we brought those boys in who took the chance on going to community college, and it's worked out for a lot of them.
Yeah, that's amazing to hear that you had such a good experience at community college at Cayuga. I know that you're right, it's the perfect stepping stone in not just your education, but also like helping you get more exposure out in the States. And it actually happened for yourself. So why don't you tell us a story about how you were recruited by Moyne?
Yeah, so I was coming to the end of my second year in community college, and I'd done well on the pitch and half decent in the classroom, and I'd been talking to a few colleges that I obviously, you know, I was happy to be talking to people, but I wasn't really interested in. I did want to go to Moyne, but I'd never even reached out or never had the contact. And we managed to, in my second year, we won the conference, we won regionals, and then we went to nationals. And I didn't get much exposure in the first like winning the conference or regionals, because there were players on the team that were better than me, so they were getting the attention and the exposure, which is fair enough. There was some quality lads, and yes, we got to nationals and we were in the quarterfinal, I think, and I had to score a penalty to go 2-0 up, and I scored the penalty. And the reason I mentioned that is because I got recruited by a lad called Blair, who was the assistant, who was the GA at Moyne at the time. And he told me that the reason he wrote my name down, beyond like my general play in that game, was the fact that I could score the penalty under the pressure, because the conditions were awful. We were in it was I think we got 4 inches of snow during the game. Like they had to plough the pitch at halftime. Yeah, they had to plough the pitch at halftime, and it took I think it took half an hour or 40 minutes for them to plough it, just so that we could get out there and play. And the event was sponsored by a company, I can't remember the name, but they could only give you white balls. They didn't have any orange balls or nothing, so we were playing. It was mad conditions, you know. So the GA at Moyne, the Scottish lad he said to me, you know, the reason he wrote my name down in that game was because I scored that penalty. And it's that exposure that you get going to national championships or going to regional championships, that, you know, lads all over the team, because they were playing for Cayuga, they were getting that exposure, not just from FirstPoint, but from coaches that could come and watch them play in the American game, which is different. It's a very different game over there in terms of the physicality and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. It just opens up even more opportunities for you. So you went on to have a successful career after college. So tell us about that.
Yeah, luckily, so I finished college in 2018, I believe. Yeah, and after college, got hired by Goldman Sachs, which is a large investment bank, which God knows what I was doing there. To be honest, I'll put it to this way: after the way I'd done in high school and the way what I assumed my job was going to be in the future, I never thought I'd be getting hired by Goldman Sachs. But after my time in college here, you know, they prep you for it, and you do learn a lot. I mean, like I said before, my grades were awful in school back in England, but out here I did quite well academically, because you kind of you're given the tools and the chance to do so, you know. So yeah, used the connections through Moyne and obviously my grades and interview process and all that. Got hired by Goldman Sachs, working in what's called the family office service. So you're servicing ultra high net worth clients, which is really interesting. It was fun, and I was very lucky to be a part of it. But you know, helping the 1% of the world get richer is wonderful, and it's a great career that you can have, but it's not very rewarding for the most part. So after my 3 years at Goldman Sachs, I no longer work with the firm. I've come back home to Syracuse for a little bit. I've started I'm starting my own financial advisory service, which is prospecting to do quite well. As soon as COVID gets out the way, I can file all my LLCs and get it set up. But you know, luckily enough, I've got like 40 prospective clients and build it and can build with the experience that I've got. And the thing I'd like to touch on with that is, you know, that's a lad from Liverpool and the part of Liverpool I'm from should not be working at Goldman Sachs. You know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't happen. I was expecting to be a brickie or something. There's nothing wrong with being a brickie. Loads of my family back home are brickies, but like, I'm just lucky enough to have come out here and I've had the opportunities to get to do that. You know, it's not, for me, it wasn't a possibility back home. So, you know, the life after college was wonderful. It was brilliant. The football, the whole life of it was class. And then the opportunities you get afterwards, if you work hard enough and you make your connections, it's unbelievable. It's completely different to back home. And then beyond my own advisory business, we've also got a patent for a new type of soccer goal that helps make soccer fields like safer. It's like an impact absorption goal. It's not just made out of metal. It can reduce injury. It has like a counterweight system so the goal can't tip over. I'm really trying to roll that out in America too. It's starting to do successful. It's starting to do really well. And that's one of the biggest things now is that, you know, we're trying to roll that out too. So basically, I'm doing things I never thought I would be doing, but I'm loving every minute of it. And as I say, if it wasn't for FirstPoint, for the lads at Cayuga, for all these little things, these little moments in my life, I wouldn't be able to do this at all.
No, it's such an amazing story, and I think a lot of young athletes aspire to be professionals in their chosen sport. Like, they think that that's the be all and end all, but you're proof that you can go to the States on a scholarship and gain even bigger opportunities for yourself if the pro doesn't work out. If that doesn't work out for you, there are other opportunities. And I'm sure you know other fellow athletes that have gone on to stay in the States as well, not just yourself, and gone on to have successful careers.
Yeah, I do. What I would say about that is a lot of lads who are coming over, and girls as well, you know, the idea of you're going to be a pro is like, maybe it's unrealistic for some people, but it should be there a little bit. You want that competitive edge. You know, I could make it, I could do this. You do want that, but, you know, reality hit me at a certain point where I thought, okay, I need to plan my life here, because this can't be my plan A with no plan B. And so I did have that opportunity to do it. And as I've said, you know, the life I've got, I didn't even think it was possible at this point. Living back home and growing up. And to touch on the other point with lads coming over, there's about 5 or 6 lads who, not all, like I've got American citizenship, so it is quite easy for me in some capacity without having to do visas and what have you. But a lot of lads don't, and you know, 6 lads who didn't have visas or don't have American citizenship and have to get visas, they're still out here now. One of the boys just got hired in Chicago. One of the boys is working for DC United as a coach. He is an American citizen, but still there's a chance to stay out here if you work hard enough at it. You know, this country does want to reward hard work. It really does. It's got its flaws, but you can create a life for yourself that, you know, maybe you wouldn't be able to have back home, which is awesome. And another thing to go beyond that is the chance that, like, coaching back home, unless you're coaching for Liverpool or Everton or a top club, it's not really, you know, you've got to have a job on the side. You've got to be doing something else. It's not really rewarding in terms of, like, you know, you can't usually live on just coaching back home. But out here, you know, if you can work hard enough and put your time in as a player and as a GA and get your licenses, you know, you get a master's degree for free and all of that. And, you know, you can come out here and be a college soccer coach or even a club coach. Like, I just got hired at a club firm out here in Syracuse. And you can actually make a living coaching football and doing what you enjoy to do. And it's like, you know, even that in itself, you can make a real living doing that out here. And I don't think that's really a possibility back home unless you get to the highest levels, which is another thing that a lot of lads, I think, is intriguing. You know, my mate who was my captain my first year, he's out coaching at DC United now. And he's running, you know, serious teams at DC United. And it's unreal.
Yeah, no, it's amazing, and it's very refreshing to hear that, you know, the opportunities that you've had and how it's, you know, it's so good to have a plan B, like have that backing and the ability to, you know, play at a really high standard in college and then also have your studies in the background. It's just an amazing choice, I think. So what is the one piece of advice you would give to any young athlete who is considering going down the scholarship route?
I think the one piece of advice I'd give, I worked hard. I did work very hard. But the thing I would say to the lads or whoever's coming over is, if you're going to come over and do this and you're going to, be missing your family and you're going to be thousands of miles away from home, be homesick, make it worth your while. Go like on the pitch and in the classroom. Like there were lads who I played with at Cayuga who were, honestly, as players, were just phenomenal footballers, but just didn't want to do it in the classroom and had to go home, first or second year with no chance of getting into a 4-year school. And it was a disjustice, not just to like their families and that, but to themselves, because the lads were honestly really good footballers. Like you could see them going easily USL in this country by a landslide. So the one piece of advice I'd give is come over here and yeah, you're going to have fun and yeah, it's going to be a great time. It's going to be, it's a completely different world and it's fun and it feels like a movie and all that. And it does, it's brilliant and you should enjoy that, but you should also really put your graft in on the pitch and in the classroom every day, because it just makes it so much better if you can come away from it having the fun and having the experiences, but also having a degree and also, getting a job afterwards and also looking back on the time on the pitch and saying, I did everything I could to win titles or whatever it may be. I just think coming over here, it sounds very cliche, but putting 100% into every aspect of your life in America, that's the biggest piece of advice I'd say. Don't have regrets about it,
Perfect. So we like to finish on some fun questions. So what are you currently watching on Netflix?
I was watching a Jeffrey Epstein documentary, if I'm honest with you, currently, which was quite maybe not one to bring up for you. I guess if I'm talking about a go-to for Netflix, it's The Office, 100%, the American Office. Brilliant.
Okay. What's your favourite food?
Pizza over there for sure.
Your favourite sport besides soccer?
Rugby.
What's your favourite team?
Everton.
And the last one is, have you learned any new hobbies or skills during lockdown?
Yeah, I've started playing my guitar again. Actually started playing it because I had the time on my own, so that's about it. Other than that, not really.
Yeah, it's really cool. Well, thank you, Sean, for your time. It's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you and hear all about your amazing experience in the States.
Thank you, Rachel. I appreciate it.
Thanks.